Hey, Sub here. Black Ops 6 has now been integrated with Warzone for the better part of a week. Rebirth Island returns today, and we've kind of had some of the initial bugs sorted out, and we've gotten a good feel for how the game plays under Black Ops 6. And while a lot of works really well, and overall the integration has gone fairly well compared to past integrations, there's a lot of things, a lot of little things that are kind of driving people nuts, and a lot of it has to do with movement, specifically delays, right? There's a lot of delays that come and go in the game. Specifically things like delays when opening the box, ammo or armor boxes, delays after movement actions, delays from switching guns. There's a lot of little delays in there, and for a lot of people, it's reminiscent of Modern Warfare 2 when it launched. Right, everything was very delayed. You couldn't slide and shoot. You couldn't reload and replate and sprint. Everything required you to take an action and then pause and then take the next action. um and there was a lot of aim idle, so there's a lot going on in that game that was very frustrating to most of the player base because it interrupted the fluidity of the movement, especially coming from Modern Warfare 2019's Warzone. And so one of the things that I mentioned in a post last night was that you know uh, Warzone 1 didn't have this same set of problems. They had their own problems with every integration, but um, Warzone 2 doesn't seem to hold its identity right, right? There doesn't seem to be an overarching idea of what Warzone should be, right? Versus like Fortnite, for example. Everybody knows what Fortnite is. No matter what new things come each season, it's still Fortnite, and everybody understands what that is and how to play it. This game has become, since Modern Warfare 2 came out, every year it's reinvented, right? It's almost a new game. And the problem is that it's frustrating when things that work well one year get reverted, right, with the next. So for example, kind of the fluidity of movement, Black Ops Modern Warfare 3, right, took a lot of the changes they made in Modern Warfare 2 and improved upon them so that sliding while shooting, overkill as a permanent perk, right? The Some of the other, I think fast hands was a permanent perk, so you can switch weapons faster. Um, and it felt a lot more fluid, and people were actually pretty happy with the movement. There was room to improve it for sure, but it was not the same. And so we kind of had an issue when Black Ops 6 integrated, and it undid a lot of that improvement and a lot of the fluidity, and reintroduced what feels like Modern Warfare 2 again, right, with some extra features on it. And it's got a lot of people very frustrated, myself included. So I took some time last night and this morning and kind of like put a developer hat on and decided to think about why would this happen. And so the two possibilities that really exist, is either this is by design and the developers intend to have delays and intend to limit your fluidity in the game, which it strikes me as strange because the way that they approach movement, right, and they approach these actions doesn't, especially in Black Ops, it doesn't feel like it does in Warzone. Warzone, Black Ops, feels quite a bit more fluid, the multiplayer game, than Warzone, right? Um, so that begs the question of why are we reverting a lot of these things in Warzone that were not a problem last year, and were really, the problems were being reduced in Warzone 2. And so I think from a developer standpoint, what we have to look at is how, the timeline of this game, right? They say it's 4-year development or whatever that means. The reality is they probably took Modern Warfare 2's engine and they branched it way back when Modern Warfare 2 was still in session, possibly before they even made movement changes in Modern Warfare 2, right? This could have been branched, closer to launch than the end of Modern Warfare 2. And then they built this Omni movement on top of Modern Warfare 2 versus Modern Warfare 3, which was in all likelihood designed as a DLC. So it was designed to continue all the work and carry on the work from Modern Warfare 2 into Modern Warfare 3. And so they would have had the benefit of of literally taking exactly what was being worked on and developed for Modern Warfare 2 and just iterating on that and adding to it, right? Instead of starting over and rebuilding it. And so I think when you look at where Warzone stands and why there are so many good things about the Black Ops 6 integration, but there are so many frustrating things that feel like reversions. I think it's because there's not yet a unified vision for what Warzone is going to be, right? It's like with every game, the developers have their own take on it and their own viewpoint. And this is how COD has been for a long time, which is great. But Warzone needs its own vision, and I don't think it needs to be a standalone game, but there has to be basics, right? Modern Warfare 2019's Warzone was tethered to Modern Warfare in 2019. They couldn't move the Warzone platform to new games, right? So new mechanics, couldn't be added, couldn't be introduced, right? And that was, while frustrating in restricting in a lot of ways, it was good because you didn't have to learn how to slide cancel again. You didn't have to learn how to bunny hop again, right? It just worked, right? You could slide cancel, you built momentum, you could bunny hop, and integration after integration after integration, it was all there. Now, with the way that they're doing it, is they're not continuing the same development branch of the movement. And what they're I think doing it what they did with this game is they literally took where the game was, copied it, right, and almost like a parallel timeline, developed Omni movement and kind of went from this point in one direction, where where Modern Warfare 2 and then Modern Warfare 3 continued on this one and went in a different direction. So you had this diverging action, and the improvements made in Modern Warfare 3 were not able to be brought over and copied into Black Ops because Black Ops had changed too much for them to kind of mesh. And I think what Activision needs to do is sit down with all of its people and decide what it's going to be. Where are we going with Warzone? And not like the next game or even the next two games, like a 5 or 10-year plan. Commit to it, and then make improvements as you go. But all the improvements, like, we're not branching it, right? If we're gonna keep the Omni movement or features of the Omni movement around, then everybody has to have it. Everybody has to build off of that. If we're going to keep dolphin diving and that sort of thing, like, it has to be built off of the Omni movement engine, so that we don't have this reversion every year, because Warzone can't survive this, right? We can't have a great game and have the game in a good spot and then look to make an improvement on it and then revert a bunch of stuff that has become, like, that players have become accustomed to. We have to commit to something. Activision has to commit to something long term and be like, developers, do what you want on multiplayer, but when it comes to Warzone, you're building off of this. This is what you're working with. And if features that you have in multiplayer aren't compatible, they don't come over, right? Because we have to have a consistent style of gameplay that doesn't revert the things that we love and the things that make the game work well in order to add new features. We have to stop that cycle. And, if we don't, Warzone's going to it's going to run into this wall of player apathy. Players aren't going to be interested in having to see what got broken or reverted this time. And that wasn't really a problem that we had, in the last game, because you didn't worry that movement would change. You didn't worry that aiming would change. You didn't worry that these things would alter dramatically from game to game, and we would lose critical features that we've become, reliant on and that have become favorites, right? Because the development cycles didn't overlap properly. So I think that's the issue. I think the reality is we have this divergent, we started Black Ops 6 movement work way too early into the Modern Warfare 2 cycle. And that's what cost us a lot of these delays and a lot of these issues. So Activision, I really hope that we can sit down and, we can lay out how we want movement to go, how we want things to operate from here forward, and really turn it into into a game that will stay around for a long time and retain its popularity year over year. That's what we want. That's, I think, what is best for the game and for the franchise overall. And so hopefully you agree with me. If you don't, please drop a description, drop something down in the comments below. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you on the next one.